Spring trailer sales, saving the world one great deal at a time.
I'm Gillian Slade with Medicine Hat News, and my guest on Q&A today is Maureen Newton, an artist and the owner of Inspire Studio and Gallery. This lovely artwork and your artwork as a backdrop to you there. Were you one of those children that always loved drawing and colouring in from day one?
I did, yes. Actually, my father was an artist, so I guess that's how he used to entertain us when we were little. We drew with him, and he used to, with a compass, draw circles and make these patterns, and then we would mix colour and fill them in, and I just loved doing that. And I think my sister commented once that I sort of came out of the womb drawing.
As an artist.
But, yeah, it was just, I guess, if your parents or whatever are like that is part of your life, and you know, it was a surprise to me that other people didn't do that. You know,
wonderful. And when did you officially become an artist? When did you just start selling your work?
Well, after I graduated from university, I went to the University of Lethbridge and got a Bachelor of Fine Arts there in painting and printmaking, and then I traveled a little bit, and then, you know, I sold the odd painting as a student and things like that. But I guess really when I moved to Vancouver and I started maybe painting more seriously, and then really from there I moved to Ontario, and then I found there my artwork was very popular, and yeah, I did quite well at it. So yeah.
Were you born in Medicine Hat?
I was born in Medicine Hat, yes. Okay. Yeah.
And then what took you to Vancouver?
I just decided on a whim. Like I said, after I graduated from university, I did some traveling Europe. My family's from England originally, so I went and lived there for a little while. And when I came back, I got back to Medicine Hat and just decided Vancouver was the place it had to be. So I just went out there on a whim and ended up living out there for about 6 years, and I really loved it out there. So.
Like Medicine Hat drew you back?
Yeah, actually my family, yeah. My dad was not well at the time, so I sort of came back from England, and then he was doing a little bit better, so off I went again.
And when did you open Inspire Studio and Gallery?
July of 2008, I guess, so about over a year and a half ago now. And yeah, so for the first time in my life, I was working at the Essalon, and for the first time in my life I had a really good art job, which are very hard to come by, and I quit. I don't know what the logic in that was, but I just decided I needed to do this kind of thing. I guess I was interacting a lot with artists who were doing that for a living, and I thought, you know, that's really, I almost felt jealous. I thought that was an indication that that's really what I needed to be doing. So.
And then you display a number of different artists' work here in this gallery.
Yeah, so it's really my painting studio, so sort of my home base, and I teach classes here, so drawing and painting classes, children and adults, and then I had this extra space, and I thought, well, I think Medicine Hat could do with a little commercial gallery, and so I really want it to be local artists, so just a lot of people that I know are just from the art community here, and so I have over 25 local artists' artwork on display as well. Like some of them are instructors at the college, like Craig Cote and Dean Smale, and some are students, and you know, just some are self-taught. You know, it's just a full variety of from pottery to, you know, sculptures, photography, painting, just a little bit of everything. So.
Do you work in a number of different mediums, or mainly in oils?
Mainly in oils now. You know, I've kind of gone through processes where I would work in the early days, like my dad taught me to paint in watercolors. That's, you know, what I always used to paint in. And then when I went to art school, I was introduced to acrylics and oils, so watercolors kind of went out the window. Realized that really oils were just something that I really loved to paint with. And then at university, my minor was in printmaking, so that's something else that, yeah, so etching and that sort of thing I really enjoy doing as well.
What inspires you to begin work on a new piece of art?
Well, I guess it was, at times I've struggled to try and figure out what the heck I was going to do next at point, different times. But it was, I think it was Paul Nielsen, one of my instructors at the college here. When I was struggling, he said, paint what you know. Like, don't paint pictures of Africa if you've never been to Africa. Paint the things in your world. So I really took that to heart, I think. And then sort of now I have so many ideas, but they're sort of like my personal stories, I guess, that I really enjoy painting. And there's always a sense of humor in them that people get a good chuckle out of. So I've always enjoyed those little plays on words. Like if I can come up with kind of double entendres or triple entendres or things, plays on words that have many multiple levels that I'm really proud of myself. So it's really a lot about me. Sometimes I've done a series of self-portraits where I'm so sick of myself by the end of it that I try and paint something else, but I always seem to come back to that.
Do you have a favorite place in Medicine Hat, if you've got some time to yourself or with a friend that you'd like to go to, sort of gravitate to, either for a quiet moment or maybe for a jolly moment, but a favorite spot?
There's a couple places that I absolutely love in Medicine Hat, and one is actually the historic Clay District. I think, and probably got a little bit of that from my dad. Like one of the reasons he emigrated here was he originally worked in the potteries here, but I absolutely love it down there. It's one of my most favorite places, and just the scenery and the trains and the coolies and all of that. So I love going down there. I know I've taken a few of my art classes, and I get so excited down there, and they always look at me like, you're really weird. Say, trust me, you'll leave Medicine Hat and you'll realize how cool this is. Yeah. And then I think one of my other favorite places is the library. That's on a day off. I love going to the library and just going through all the books there. And
do you have a favorite author?
I don't have much time really to read much anymore. I love to go through autobiographies and things like that, and I do love reading books about artists, and sometimes that's like even the painting behind me here is I do this a lot in my paintings. I use artists as reference, so I read their autobiographies a lot as well. Like this is Matisse.
Yes.
And so he quite often pops up in my paintings kind of like as God or a godlike figure.
Okay.
But I use my favorite artists sort of as characters in my paintings and things like that. A lot of people think that this is my dad, actually. It looks a lot like my dad, but it's actually Matisse. So I do probably autobiographies and things like that I love to read. But I was very excited. My niece was just in Toronto a little while ago, and she sat beside Margaret Atwood when she went to the theatre. So
that was exciting.
That was She told me that because she knew I'd be jealous.
Yeah. At the end of a working day, would you choose a cup of tea or a glass of wine?
A cup of tea, yeah.
With a cookie?
Definitely a cookie, yes.
Do you have a favorite tea?
Just, I guess because my family is English, again, just the orange pekoe. Gotta have milk and sugar.
With the milking first?
Milk and first, definitely. Yeah, I was trained by my dad, so it has to be a specific way. You have to put milk in first.
Sort of a ritual.
Definitely, yeah. And actually, a lot of my paintings are about that too, the tea ritual. That's kind of been imprinted in me. Yeah.
And if you were planning a holiday, are you a camping kind of person, or would you want to plan for hotels and comfort?
Hotels and comfort, definitely. Camping is basically probably an overnight thing for me, yeah. That's about all I can handle.
You mentioned your family's from England. Which part of England are they from?
Well, I guess the Liverpool area. My dad sort of grew up in the Midlands, and that's how he sort of came to be trained in the potteries. He grew up in Burslem and went to the Burslem School of Art. Was trained as a pottery designer, and sort of that's how he came to be in Medicine Hat.
Interesting. If there's one person in life that you find a real inspiration for your life, who would that be?
I guess right now, my son, I think, because it's his birthday today. He's 10, and He has mild cerebral palsy, and I think he has a great attitude. He's sometimes when we have troubling days, we had one a couple days ago, and that night, I was putting him to bed, and he said, tomorrow will be a better day. So, he always tries his best and works really hard at things, and he's very optimistic, and I can be kind of neurotic sometimes, so I'm the kind of person that worries, that I worry too much, kind of thing. So I do look at him and find that kind of, inspiring and just a good way to be.
And what's his name?
His name's Sam.
Sam, wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this interview with us. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.